professional Christians, getting professional Christians to become more actively involved in missions. And we understand that there are various classifications of mission fields. Mission field is not just a remote location somewhere in northern Nigeria or in a country that is close to the gospel. A mission field could be a particular profession. It could be a particular people group. It could be a particular strata of the society. It could be a particular ethnic group. So missions, it's all about reaching people who have a common identity with the gospel of Christ. So that definition alone, I mean, kinds of covers a lot and covers what we are doing here. So we believe that one of our objectives is to see that Christian professionals become more active in sharing the gospel. And we believe strongly that one way Christian professionals can do this is through excellence in their work. Showing excellence in their workplace, it becomes a lot easier for Christians to share the gospel. We see that in scriptures. I mean, a good example is Daniel. He was very excellent at what he does, and that alone already, stood him out. And through that, he was able to display the glory of God, even if he didn't go all out to preach it every now and then. But through that, everybody knew him for something, or the fact that he worshipped the God of Israel. I could give examples also of instances where I have used my position, not like I used it in the wrong way, but because of where I sit, I've used it to share the gospel to people who I was managing or who I manage, and they would easily listen to me because I'm their manager. I mean, that again, it's one way we can. Just an example, because of where I've attained in my career, at least they could listen to me when I tell them about the gospel. So, so strongly believe in this, that as every Christian, so it's supposed to be an apostle in the marketplace. It's supposed to be an ambassador for Christ, and for us to be good ambassadors for Christ, we must first be excellent at the work we do, and then we must also excel. At being good Christians, and through that, the combination of those two factors, we are then able to show people that we're actually Christians. We actually bear in the glory of God, and through that we communicate our message, and we believe that people can more easily listen to us. So that's the whole objective of this. Yes, we have majorly focused on missions, but we believe that and our missions is trying to get Christian professionals to be involved, and feed is one of the ways we can get Christian professionals to be involved in sharing the gospel, being excellent at our work. I'll just also do a brief introduction of the various speakers who will be taking us through this topic, delivering exceptional results always. We have three speakers. I'm just coordinating things. I'm not one of the facilitators, but we have three renowned facilitators who have excelled in their career, who are Christians and people who fear God, who would be taking us through these topics. And we've designed the course in such a way that each of the facilitators will take an aspect of the topic or bring their perspective to bear from their own experience and angle, or the way they are able to deal with the topic. So we're going to see different perspectives. Small things that we're talking about will be a bit similar, but because of there are different persons handling it, you're going to see a bit of personal experience in the way they handle it, which will differentiate it from the way the other speaker has handled it. I would just start by introducing Mr. Yinka Obashemola. He's one of the facilitators, but he's not the one taking the session today, but he's one of the facilitators. I mean, he currently works with Procter & Gamble, not in Nigeria. He is with Procter & Gamble in Egypt, but he started his career in Nigeria, and he currently works with a company in Egypt. and sorry, just trying to get the information. He's a supply chain manager currently with Procter & Gamble, and he has spent over 10 years with the company, and he has risen through the ranks. And he has, in course of that, he has displayed an excellence in his work, and that has enabled him to rise through the ranks to where he currently is as a supply chain manager in Procter & Gamble, senior manager actually in Procter & Gamble. We also have Ayonike Salako. This one I know her personally. She one of the people who influenced my career at Deloitte while I was at Deloitte. And that excellent lady, excellent at her work. And I mean, I won't be surprised if she makes partner probably in the next 1 or 2 years. She's also going to be one of the facilitators for this course. And lastly, we have Mr. ONASAMI Emmanuel. He's a brother in Christ, somebody I've known for a while now. I've worked with him as well. And he's also one who champions excellence and who believes strongly that we can easily communicate the gospel more if we are excellent at our work, especially in the workplace. He started his career with KPMG Nigeria, and then he moved on to Otto Anderson in Nigeria as well. But currently he runs his own firm, accounting firm, which started this year. He's also the visionary of NPM Network Christian Professional Services, and he's an apostle. Yeah, because he's the visionary of this work. I mean, so I think I'm right to call him that. And so he will be our first facilitator. Who'll be the one taking the session today. And I'll just leave it to him to do further introductions of himself and carry on from there. But briefly, before I go, just want to introduce myself. My name is Emmanuel I'm in charge of mentoring at NPM. I started my career with Deloitte Nigeria, but currently I'm a manager with BDO UK. I'll just enjoin us that if we can put on our cameras, but if not, probably for the sake of the circumstance around where we are, we might turn it off. But I'll just enjoin us to, if we can, put on our camera and try and participate through the session. We want to try as much as possible to make it very interactive and not just a one-way communication. Thank you very much. I hand over to, let's welcome Mr. ONASAMI.
Thank you very, very much, Mr. Echo, for that introduction. That was pretty spot on, and he has really explained the entire objective of this mentoring program and why we are in this room gathered with this evening. And as part of the ground rule, I just want to encourage us to say, maximize the value from the program to the extent that we are committed to it. Our commitment to this program is very, very needed to ensure that we maximize the value that has been designed to deliver to us. And Mr. Echo did not mention that, if you are yet to join the Telegram group, I will advise that you use the link. Mr. Echo, if you can just help us share that link again so that people can just click on the link and join the Telegram group. So that group will be alive for just 5 months, and it's for this semester. Within that 5 months, you have the privilege of having all the faculty members in that group, to answer any questions that you may have real time, and also, attend to any question, any issue or case study that you may want to present on the page. And the first thing I will also want us to do before we move into this semester proper, I want us to kind of appoint a semester rep. The semester rep is a person that will be responsible for making sure that every member of the program is participating as expected, and also we are getting on to do what is expected of us so that we can maximize the value from this session. So if you are interested in being a program rep, you understand that is obviously from the participants and not the faculty member. If you want to be the program rep, where you will be the central point both for the faculty members and then the participants, in order to get the value that this program promises. And you can just indicate by raising your hand, and if you have more than one people, you just pick anybody, or maybe all of them become the course rep for the period, so that the responsibility is not just too much on one person. So if you are interested in being the course rep or the program rep, as the case may be for this period, can you just go ahead and indicate by a show of hand? There's a way you show your hand. There's a reaction button here. So if you click on it, you can raise your hand using that function on the platform. Let's do this very quickly. Let's do this very quickly. If you are interested in being a program rep, okay. While we are at that, I also want to mention to say that for this program, the way it works is that we are only going to have one contact session per month. But the peculiarity for the month of November is because we couldn't start in the month of October, so we are going to have 2 classes in the month of November. This class and the last Saturday of the month. Subsequent months, we are going to be having the subsequent last Saturday of the following month. We are going to be having the subsequent classes. So we have also shared the meeting invite with you just to block your calendar for those periods. If you go to your email, you should be able to, see that your calendar has been blocked and you are able to click on that link and join the session. But in addition to that, the course rep, the class rep will be responsible to mobilize everybody for classes, posting reminders, telling us ahead that there will be classes, as scheduled, and in addition to what I've said, just to manage our expectation that there will be coursework every month, that we are expected to participate in. It could be a book reading, it could be a case study, it could be a project, depending on the faculty member or the facilitator, what the person wants us to do. So I will just quickly I'll speak to that coursework very briefly, and then I will also later still come back to it just to explain what is meant. So the coursework for this month, which we are going to be discussing in our Telegram page, is that we are going to be reading the book Start With Why. Start With Why. And this is a book that is primarily focused on, performing a root cause analysis to the extent that if you are able to, understand the why in any scenario, you are almost likely to get the deliverable right, and there are so many lessons to glean from this book, either as a team leader, either as a team member, either as a business owner running your home business. I think once we are able to answer the question, why are we doing what we are doing, whether at our workplace or whether anywhere we find ourselves in church, in our businesses, why are we doing what we are doing? Once we are able to answer that question effectively, then I think our approach to doing our work will be very, very spot on, and we exhibit excellence to a large extent. So, Mr. Echo, we assist to drop, the e-copy of this book on the page now. even as we continue with this session. So it will drop the e-copy. But if you are in the financial, you are in a position to get the hard copy of this book, I will encourage you, to do that, because it will enrich your library, to be honest. And I will encourage you, if you are able to get the hard copy of this book, I would advise that you get the hard copy. So let's go back to the business of the day very briefly. And this first contact, we are going to be discussing expectation and team management. And remember that the umbrella topic we are looking at for this mentoring, for this semester, is delivering exceptional results always. And like Mr. Echo has rightly said, one of the ways that you can become a gravitating point for excellence at work is for you to constantly deliver excellence. So beyond just knowing your technical onions, you understand, there is also the aspect of soft skills that enable you to deliver excellently. It is not just enough to be technically sound, to know the technical aspect of what you are doing, but there are some qualitative skills that will make whatever you are doing to come out very excellently. And once you are able to, present yourself at the corporate space or the business space, as the case may be, you are then becoming a gravitating point for people. People want to learn from you. People want you to show them the way. People will come to you and say, "Show us the way." You understand? And while you are trying to show them the way, that's the golden opportunity, for you to introduce such a people, to the gospel. And that way, we believe strongly that every Christian professional or every Christian business person, we are able to become a workplace evangelist, by, delivering exceptionally always at our place of endeavors. So like we have said, this program has been divided into 3 main contacts. The next contact will happen last Saturday in November, then December, then January. Then that will be the December. January, we are going to have like a joint section for all the faculty where everybody will be in the room, and we are able to take any questions that we may want to ask, on the final note, and that will be it. That will be it. Let me just manage expectation. We are in a generation where people are certificate conscious. I am not sure the director of this directorate, Mr. Echo, has made any arrangement to issue certificate for participating in this program. But I strongly believe that more than certificate is the transformation that we want you to get by being involved in this program. So I think Mr. Echo has done a good job of introducing myself, and I will not spend much time, to repeat that again, And the only thing I just want you to note is that whatever we are discussing here today is not from a theoretical perspective, it's actually from a practical experience. We may have to see some video for the purpose of introducing some concepts, to everyone in the room. But more importantly, we are going to be sharing experiences, and from the experience sharing, we believe that people will be able to get the kind of understanding that they should get from this session. And I go to the objective of today's contact. So like I said, the topic for today's contact is expectation and team management. Once you are able to manage expectation, it's almost likely that your deliverables are going to be perceived as exceptional, and also once you are able to manage your team, you are almost good to go to say that the output from the team, is going to be exceptional. So, the objectives for this contact session, today's session, is for us to understand the need to deliver exceptionally as a believer. And I think we've been speaking to that all this while. And the second objective, as stated on the screen, is to learn how to manage expectation effectively. Once you are able to do that, you are almost sure that your output will be exceptional. And then lastly is to learn how to maximize your team strength. So those are the objectives that we have for this session. If you have another objective at the back of your mind, I know that many of us, in the process of filling the registration form, we have stated our expectation, but in the light of what we are discussing today, if you have any objectives that you also think we should be able to address today, you can drop it on the chat column, and then we'll pick it up from there and see the possibility of delivering on that before the end of this interaction. And so that is the objectives for today's conversation. Let me say this at this junction, that if you have questions, do not hesitate to let us know by indicating your hand on the page. Like Mr. Echo has said, it is best that we have an interactive session than we have like a monologue. You understand? As we are progressing in the conversation, please, if you have any question, you can just raise your hand. Mr. Echo will be coordinating that, and then we will take your question and attempt to provide answer, accordingly. Okay, so let's go into the meat of today's. Please confirm that you can see my screen. I just want to be sure.
I can see your screen.
Okay, thank you. So, speaking of expectation management, and the way I really want us to interact with this understanding this evening is to look at the different elements of expectation management. And let me say this: one of the biggest undoing that people do to themselves, when they are giving any task as work, or maybe they are providing any service to a client, is the error of not managing expectation. Do you understand? There is this concept that is very, very important for us to take home from this interaction. It is the concept of under-promise and then over-deliver. Do you understand? When you are having interaction with your client or with your supervisor or with your bosses, as the case may be, and you are given a task, they want you to deliver on that task, one of the biggest things that you want to be sure is to say you are under-promising, and such that when you now deliver, you over-deliver. So it is easy for somebody that you under-promised what your performance will be on that job to say that you have delivered exceptionally on that job. Do you understand? When you over-deliver on what you have promised. Do you understand? And I understand that in some cases, it may be impractical for you to under-promise, because there are some expectations that are already written in black and white concerning that role. So, for example, during my days in KPMG, during my days in Anderson, we used to have performance metrics, you understand? And there are some things that you are expected to do at a particular level of your career, whether as a manager or as a senior manager or as a partner. So there are some expectations that are already, documented, you understand? And in that case, you are not able to under-promise, because that is the minimum expectation that the system is demanding from you. If you flip this understanding to the business world also, you understand, you go out there, you promise to deliver value to your customer, whether as a business person, whether you're into IT solutions, whether into fast-moving and consumer goods, food business, as the case may be, as much as possible, you want to ensure that if there's opportunity for you to under-promise, you always under-promise and over-deliver. When you under-promise and over-deliver, you always appear to the person that you are dealing with to be an exceptional person. Do you understand? Nobody will see somebody that is delivering what he promises or what is expected of him. That is the only thing you are delivering. And then you expect yourself to be perceived as an exceptional person. I think if you go that route, do you understand? You may not be always perceived as exceptional. So what it means is that where there is a standard expectation of you in an organization, and say maybe based on your level and based on your experience on the job, this is the minimum expectation of this person on this job. As a professional, as a Christian professional, in order for you to be perceived as exceptional, you want to go above and beyond to deliver above what is expected of you or above what is promised. Do you understand? And the first element of this is that there must be an agreement. So there must be an agreement. So you need to agree your deliverables, agree expectations, and then exceed them. Because if there is no agreement, there is no frame of reference to say you have delivered above what was agreed. So in my journey in the professional space, what we typically do is that when we have a project that we are working on, there's something that we call a project team meeting, project kickoff meeting, project team meeting. And all what we are doing in that team meeting is that we are just agreeing expectation. So I have how many people in that team? I have 4 people, I have 5 people, as the case may be. What we sit down to do is that we agree, okay, Mr. Echo, you are going to deliver on this aspect of this project. Emmanuel, you are going to deliver on this aspect of the project. There is already an agreement that has been agreed by everybody in that project team. So for you to come out as being exceptional is to use that agreement as a frame of reference for your minimum performance on that job. It's for you to use that agreement as the frame of reference for your minimum performance on that job. So if you have a boss, that has an expectation of you and say, oh, Antonia, this is A, B, C, D, E, F, G that you are going to work on this week. Joshua, this is A, B, C, D, E, F, G that you are going to work on this. Or maybe you have a customer that you are expected to deliver some form of work to do and say, okay, deliver A, B, C, D. There is already an agreement. So because if there is no agreement, then it will become adversarial, when you are trying to demonstrate or defend that you have exceeded expectation or you have delivered exceptionally. Do you understand? So if there is no agreement, you understand. So and the truth is there is no frame of reference anyway. So what is the benchmark that you are using to measure whether you have delivered exceptionally or not? Do you understand what I'm trying to say? You understand? And that is the expectation, to say there must always be an agreement. There must always be an agreement to say, this is what is expected of me on this project. Then I'm going to go above and beyond to deliver above that. This is what the customer expected of me. Do you understand? And this is what the customer is saying that I must deliver. Then for me to appear exceptional to that customer, then I will go above and beyond and deliver extra. Are we still together? Are we still together? I just want some reaction so that I can be sure that we are still together and we are following. You understand? And is there anybody in the room that wants to share his or her experience on how having an agreement, has helped you to actually stand your ground, even when people are trying to undervalue your contribution to a project or undervalue what you have delivered to that customer. As a business person, is there anybody that wants to share an experience in the room so that I can hear our voices? Okay, nobody.
I could give an example, but probably
okay. Okay, go ahead. Sir.
On the opposite side, I mean, what you just talked about is something that is very common in professional service firms. But I've also discovered that along the line, and when once work starts and everybody gets busy, the whole thing gets forgotten and is dropped off somewhere, and before you now come back to it at the end of the project. So one thing I learned in the course of my career is that, yes, agree the objectives, agree the expectations at the start, but also have check-ins with your manager. If you are, working somebody above you, or you're working with those beneath you, not beneath, sorry, below you, you're managing, also try and check in with them so that everybody is aware that, okay, these are the expectations. How am I meeting these expectations? So if there's any gap, it can quickly be fixed, and not just when we get to the end of the project, because I've suffered negatively from that before. Not just when we get to the end of the project and we now start discussing the gaps or the areas where you did not meet expectations, because it's very important for those check-ins to happen during the project, so that you have an opportunity to correct those things in case you are not meeting the expectations or you are falling behind on the expectations, so that you can correct them during the project. Else, if you want to, like, I could give you an example. I was on a big project, and that project takes about 4 months or 5 months. So I didn't do those check-ins, or I tried to, but it didn't work out. So at the end of the project, probably 1 month after the project, I was getting my feedbacks. I discovered that, there's some gaps, and that was already 6 months. So I don't have any opportunity to close those gaps before promotion. So I have to wait for another 12-month cycle to now start putting plans in place to address those issues that we identified.
Wow, I think that's a very important contribution there from Mr. Echo. To say, even after you have agreed the expectation, you always have to do a check-in just to be sure that everybody around you are still getting the vibe, that you are still within, your performance expectation, and you are delivering as expected. And thank you, Mr. Echo, for making that a very, very important contribution. And okay, we have more people joined in. Okay, Mr. Echo said he will be right back. But is there any other person that wants to share their experience on how having an agreement has actually bailed them out, from a very bad situation where the client is now trying to say, or where the customer or the boss is now trying to say that, this is not what we agreed, and this is not what you have delivered. You understand? Especially for the business people here, I know it's a common thing, that if you don't have an agreement with your customer and you deliver something, and the customer comes back agog and says, this is not what I'm expecting you to deliver. Number one, it does a lot of damage to your brand. It does a lot of damage, to your performance, your finances, you understand, your revenue, because the customer may not even pay you your balance, or the customer may not even refer another business to you, because, the damage has been done because you did not manage expectation well. You understand? Mr. Aaron joined, you understand? And I know that Mr. Aaron is a business person. If you are in a place to share some of your experiences around this, where you forgot to agree, the expectations that the customers want from you, and it almost led to a very, very messy situation.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon,
everyone. Can we hear me? Thank you so much, Mr. ONASAMI.
Yeah.
All right. Interestingly, I had a very nasty experience very recently, very recently. So my company got a contract to make some. I run a branding firm actually. We got a contract to make some branded hoodies for Delta State University, right? So my contact person there, we went into a proper agreement. My lawyer did the agreement and all, and the job, we had a good agreement. Job was going smooth, but the mistake my company made was my service providers. There was a particular tailor in Yaba I gave the sewing part of the business to. We didn't really go into a written agreement. We just it was a mouth to mouth that I was just going to be monitoring the job. The guy messed the contract up. He messed the contract up so bad that we lost close to 50% of the profit in that contract. It was a major loss to the company, and there was really I couldn't arrest him because okay, so what happened was he was the one we sent to get material in Aba for the job and all, and he just came back. We didn't come back with the right material. He didn't come back with the quantity we paid him to do, and we were under time constraint to deliver to the school. So we had to just look for a way to sort it out. And also since then, I've actually made up my mind that I would reduce my dealing with those one-man tailors. So we've actually gotten
relationship gone bad.
Relationship gone bad. So it was even at that period while I was lamenting and telling my friends that I was introduced to a company that does that. Like, and the name of the company is Skit. So they have like a major factory for sewing in on the mainland. So sincerely, the price they gave me was almost the same thing as what the guy gave me, and they would have done everything without me necessarily going there every day for like 3 weeks, including Sunday, monitoring the work. It was a really messy one. Those ones, it would have been a more professional service, and also the experience is still very fresh in my mind, and it's something I'm not sure I can forget in a while. And it was really a messy one. It was a messy one, and it really destroyed the relationship I had with. So the quantity of the hood ordinarily was supposed to be 8,000. The first batch was 2,000 that was paid for. It was a project of almost 30 something million naira. The first batch was 8 million naira, and it was the 8 million naira we messed up. So the guys had to go to Aba to do the remaining. It was a major they make it themselves. So I think that agreement thing right now, it's either we go into agreement or let me just stay and be waiting for who will do agreement. And also the agreement thing is just it's a serious one.
So that's very profound. That experience to say, beyond just even losing money, you lose relationship, you lose business because you did not just manage what is expected of each party. So it is important that there is an agreement. There is an agreement because that forms a benchmark for performance. It is easier for Mr. Aaron to go back to that guy and say, Pali, we agree that you are going to deliver 50,000 in 2 weeks, blah, blah, blah. You have not delivered this. Therefore, I'm not going to pay you for the amount that you have not delivered. You understand? And it's easy, but if you don't have an agreement, you understand, it then becomes a very emotional conversation. People will now start using some languages and say, are you not a child of God? You understand? Blah, 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 blah. I did not even make any profit from this, blah, 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 blah. Those kind of issues will now come up. We then come up because, you did not have an agreement prior to. That example was actually that of from a business perspective. Mr. Echo has actually shared an example from a workplace, corporate space perspective, where you have a boss subordinate relationship and you are trying to manage expectations and ensure that you deliver on the expectation and go above and beyond. So one of the ways that you have to pay attention to is that, as a Christian professional that wants to gravitate people towards yourself so that you can have an opportunity to share the gospel, is that you don't just deliver as agreed. Do you understand? So you go above and beyond and you exceed what has been agreed. so that people will then see you as a reliable person, as a central point for excellence, when it comes to delivering above and beyond. It's good to agree, you understand, and then you go above what has been agreed and deliver beyond that. Mr. Eko made a comment, which is very, very profound, that you always need to check from time to time to see to it that the expectation has not shifted, even in the course of the project. The same thing as a business person. You need to check from time to time to say, remember what we agreed, and the expectation has not shifted, so that when you go above and beyond to deliver beyond what has been agreed, then it can be recognized, as you being exceptional. The second point here, we've dwelt a bit on agreement, is to say you have to understand the big picture. You have to understand the big picture. This big picture of the thing speaks to the book we are reviewing this month, which is Start With Why by Simon Sinek. The big picture is answering the question why. Okay, a customer came to you and say, okay, I want you to do this for me. Why is the customer requesting that service? Once you are able to answer the question why, it is easy for you to deliver exceptionally, because you are then equipped with what the customer wants to see or what the customer wants to achieve, and you are able to help that customer to achieve that objective. The same way, if you are in a corporate space, you are in an office environment, and you are given a task, it's not just enough for you to be a task taker and say, this is what they say I should do. It is also very, very important for you to go the extra mile of understanding the big picture. Understand the big picture in the sense that, okay, if you are in an office and you are working in the procurement or supply chain department, what is the big picture? The big picture is that we are able to ensure that products get into the market seamlessly, do you understand, without any form of hitches. You understand? And whatever task they are giving you within that process, you are then better equipped to say, oh, hey, this is how critical my task will contribute to this overall big picture, such that if I deliver exceptionally on this task, do you understand? I must have contributed to the entire team's success in a way that is recognizable. And it is also very instructive to note that beyond the task that you are given, you are also perceived as a theme player. So you are not just saying, I have done my part and I have done it well. This is what you people said I have done, I should do. Then I have done it. Then I have done it well. You are also taking that extra step to say, what more can I assist the team to do beyond my own task, so that we can still achieve this big picture together? So, for example, you have done your part, and there's a team member that is currently struggling on his or her own part of it. If you offer you understand, a supporting hand to that person to say, helping hand to that person to say, what aspect of this work can I've actually done, I'm done with my own. Do you understand? And then can I practically assist you, with your own, some aspect of your own, you understand? And the person will see you, the way the person will perceive you. Number one, the person will perceive you as a love being, and say, it's not just about you. This faith must be a true Christian. Do you understand? You have demonstrated yourself to be able to go above and beyond what has been assigned to you. And all you are gunning for is that the team is able to achieve the big picture, whether as a business person or as an employee in an organization. You are focused on the big picture. Once the big picture has not been achieved, do you understand? You don't relent. You don't withdraw and say, but I have contributed my part. Do you understand? So there may be a question to say, some team members are very funny. When you are trying to help them now, they will now try to see that, are you trying to say that I'm not efficient or I'm not? The truth is that not everybody will be like that. And that's why you have to understand your team members. Do you understand? So the ones that will truly perceive your intent will perceive it rightly. And the one that will not perceive it correctly, you leave those ones alone. Do you understand? You understand? Because maybe some level of inferiority complex has come into place with that person, and then say, I will do my thing myself. But even at that, you understand, you can always check with the supervisor or with the ultimate boss to say, okay, I know that this person is struggling with the aspect of the work. You understand that kind of person. Do you understand? Can you possibly, speak with her and say, maybe, she should allow another person to work on an aspect of work so that as a team, we are still achieving the big picture together. Once you have that posture, that mindset, what you are doing is that you are ingraining yourself within that team as somebody that is indispensable. Do you understand? You are becoming indispensable, and if at all there is any issue in that team, you are the go-to person to say, first check. I know that Emmanuel will be aware of that issue. I know that Ebere will be aware of that issue. You understand? Because Ebere is a big picture person. She doesn't just focus on her aspect of the work. She strives to understand every aspect of the work and see to it that the theme deliver as expected. That is the way to go when it comes to, operating as an exceptional person, whether in the corporate space or as a business owner. You understand? You want to be goal focused. You want to be big picture focused, and you say, until we have achieved this big picture, I'm not going to sleep back. There is no team member that once the person finished their aspect of the work and then relents and just relax, and is not, that person can never be perceived as a reliable team member and cannot be perceived as a big picture person, and that person cannot be perceived as an indispensable person in the team. Do you understand? And that's why we have to go the extra mile to do this. Let me quickly say this about agreement and under promising and over delivering that we said earlier. One of the things that I typically do, when I was growing in my career, KPMG days and then Anderson days, if you come to me and say, Emmanuel, delivered, I have this work for you to do. How many days will it take you to do? I know that work will take me maybe 3 days. You understand? To deliver on it, I will say, give me 4 days. Do you understand? So once I under promise and say, give me 4 days, and I deliver within 3 days, the person is super impressed. So say, despite the fact, and you delivered something good, something excellent, you understand? And the person will definitely perceive you as an exceptional person. And that's why it's important. I just remember that example, and I felt, it is important to share it again. Remember, understand the big picture and the goals, and be involved to ensuring that the team or the business or whatever the case may be that you are involved in, they deliver on the goal. Don't stay back once you are done delivering on your own part of the work. So commitment, I think what I've been saying actually speaks to commitment to an extent, to say you have to be committed to your part in the theme. You have to be committed to delivering exceptional results always. Do you understand? So it's a decision that has to be made. Once I agree this minimum expectation, either with my client or with my boss, then there has to be a commitment to deliver above and beyond. You understand? So you look at it from this perspective to say, if I promise to, maybe I'm the boss in a team, and I promise the client that we are going to send your job tomorrow, and we have done our team meeting, we have assigned roles, and everybody is playing their part, and one person fails to be committed to delivering as designed, you know that overall we are unable to deliver as a team. Do you understand? and then the team will be perceived in a wrong light because of you. Do you understand? Which is not supposed to be so. So you need to be first committed to your expectations. So what is expected of you? And then you also have to take it a notch higher to say, I am not just only going to be committed to my expectation, I'm going to be committed to going above and beyond, what is expected of me. And that is when you are able to, demonstrate yourself as an exceptional person within a business, within a theme, or as the case may be, and then methodologies. Let me share an example around this, a life experience. I used to have a colleague then in my KPMG days, he loves to, he has a very creative mindset. So whenever you give him task, instead of him to rely on what is on ground before, he always wants to, reinvent the wheel, come up with new templates, blah, 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 and at the end of the day, the output is always very messed up. So is that to say that being creative is a bad thing? But I actually think that if at all you are going to tweak methodologies that have been designed, maybe as a middle level employee, you understand, you have to carry along, you understand, your manager to the extent that the manager also believes in your tricks, you understand, and then you are able to implement. Otherwise, if you go ahead and implement all your creative stunts, and at the end of the day, you have wasted everybody's time, the job is, you cannot deliver the job. Do you understand? At the end of the day, what happened to that person? The person was a creative person, was very smart, technically, academically, he's very smart, but he was advised to leave the firm. He was advised to leave the firm because he's just a loner. He wants to be on his own. He wants to demonstrate that, I can deliver this thing by myself. You are not speaking to anybody. You are not, you understand, you are not cross-checking notes, just like Mr. Echo said earlier. And the person was advised to leave the firm. You need to increase engagement by implementing methodologies. And what that speaks to is to say that, okay, there is a methodology that has been designed, you understand? If it's going to work, there is no point tweaking it. You understand? Success formula, there's no point tweaking it if it has constantly delivered on its promise. Do you understand? But if at all you want to exhibit some creative, if you want to deliver efficiency on the job and say, instead of going this route, you understand, can we possibly go this route so that we don't spend this much time to deliver on this job? Let me tell you the truth. Yes, if you go on that journey on a solo basis, you are going to bite yourself in the finger. Because at the end of the day, the manager will be like, who asked you to do this? Do you understand what I'm trying to say? You are just creating inefficiency within the system, and your perception is already getting bad based on that, despite the fact that you have good intentions. Do you understand? And so the way to go about it is that to say, if you perceive that, we actually can deliver on this job in a more efficient way, we can improve on our processes now. Carry the key stakeholders along. Let them buy into your creativity. Once they buy into your creativity and you are able to deliver, and you deliver more efficiently, what you have stamped on their mind is that you are an exceptional person. Do you understand? You are not just a template fixated person. Me too. I used to rake for some people then that say, dude, don't just go and carry template and use it for me. Do you understand? You have to be able to creatively say that, okay, adapt this template, for the purpose of this work. But while you are doing that, carry me along. You understand? So that we are on the same page and we know that, there are some times that, the manager will even say that, don't stress yourself. The client did not pay well. The client did not pay well. Just use that template. Just, you understand? There is no need for creativity on this engagement because the client did not pay well. You understand? Or the manager may think that, look, I don't want to rock the boat. And because he's the one that is ultimately responsible, you understand, for the result of the team, he's saying, please, I understand that you're a creative person. You understand? but let's just stick to the methodologies that we have, you know, within the company or within the firm or within the business, as the case may be. It is important for you to always communicate, increase your engagement when you have, you understand, creative ideas that you think that can better help the team to deliver, you know, exceptionally. You know, with all these elements, you know, if you focus on these 4 elements, you know, it is very, very likely that when you deliver your outputs, you know, people will perceive your output as being exceptional, you know, and that way you are becoming more dependable, indispensable. You understand? You're becoming rallying points, and at the end of the day, you know, people start coming to you with their personal problems. You know, at one point, you know, I became a counselor at Anderson. You know, there was an incident that happened at Anderson recently. They said they after leaving the firm, they said, we know that people comes to you to come and tell you whatever is wrong with them in the firm. You understand that? Are you aware of this issue? Are we aware? And unfortunately, that issue, I wasn't aware of it. But because there's a perception that people have of you beyond the work, you understand, to say that there is a grace that is upon you, you understand, to do things with ease, to deliver exceptionally. And that is very, very important for you to gravitate people towards you. And we are people of faith in this room, and it's allowed for me to say it, to say that even when you are unsure on how to deliver exceptionally on a particular project, it is not out of place to depend on the ministry of the Holy Spirit. You understand what I'm trying to say? It is not out of place to say, okay, this is what is expected of me. How am I then going to deliver above and beyond on this? You can go back to your secret room and then leverage on the ministry of the Holy Spirit for you to deliver on that. And that is the advantage that we have as a Christian professional, or as a Christian business person. Do you understand? For example, if you look at the real estate industry, you know, there is very common that people, you know, do some kind of immoral stuff, you know, to get clients. You know, they go to club, they put on some dresses, and you can tell yourself that, look, I want to operate in this space, and I want to be exceptional, and I don't want to do all what those people are doing because I'm a child of God. It's not expected of me. So you go back to your secret place and say, God, I need to deliver exceptionally in this industry, and show them the right way to get this thing done, such that when the Holy Spirit then give you the templates to run within that industry, you know, people then come back to you and say, this person doesn't really need to expose our cleavage to get customer. This person doesn't even really need to attend clubs, or you understand, at every weekend to get customer. Then it's like we have to go to her to teach us, or him, as the case may be, to teach us how to go about this thing. That way, you are already gravitating people to Christ. And that's it. You are already telling them that, look, hey, yes, there's the ministry of the Holy Spirit in the life of a believer that can help you to be exceptional always. So I don't want us to forget that point. I think that point is very, very important for us to hold on to say, even when you are unsure, you know, on how to be exceptional on assignment, it is not out of place for you to rely on the ministry of the Holy Spirit. And we've seen instances over and over again. Do you understand? It first comes with the consciousness of the fact that you are a workplace evangelist. So once you agree with yourself that I'm a workplace evangelist, the Holy Spirit is committed to supporting that office. So anytime you need insights, concepts, ideas on how to do things not the way the world are doing them, you understand, you can always go back to the Holy Spirit, and the Holy Spirit will give you your own blueprint that will gravitate people to God, and for that reason, you know, come to Christ. Remember our ultimate objective. Okay, so team management. You know, I've been privileged of God to manage a number of teams over time, and the truth is that one of the biggest headache you can have, or you can give yourself, when you are managing a team to deliver exceptionally is to assume that everybody will be the same way. That is the biggest undoing you can do to yourself. People that make up teams are different in there. Some people are go-getters, some people are unifiers, you understand? And everybody has their role to play in ensuring that the team deliver on its promise. So there's this concept in management, that speaks to Belbin's team role. And whoever the class rep with, I want you to go and research more on this Belbin team role, post it on the Telegram page and let people have conversation around it. But I have this very brief short video that kind of summarizes it, and then we are going to kind of look at the kind of people that you are going to encounter in the team and how you can use them to get exceptional results always. So let me just play the video now. Oh, sorry, you may not be able to. Let me reshare my screen so that you are able to hear my so that you can hear my sound. Include composition.
Okay, so Belbin. The concept for the team role started when Dr. Meredith Belbin was working with a group of managers and executives.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so Belbin team roles. Well, the concept for the team role started when Dr. Meredith Belbin was working with a group of business managers and executives. This was in the 1970s at a place called Henley Management College in Oxfordshire in England. And he became interested in the make-up of teams. In particular, what he wanted to know was what makes a winning team. So he did some psychometrics, he put them into teams, he got them playing a kind of supercharged monopoly. And one of the things he discovered early was that a successful team needs a range of abilities. You already know this. You don't expect your opening bowler to also open the batting. Likewise, you don't think that because somebody's a champion cyclist, they'll automatically be great at the shot put. Belbin put it this way, he said, a team of specialists will always beat a team of all-rounders. As time progressed, different clusters of behaviour were identified as underlying the success of the teams, and Belbin called a team role a tendency to behave, contribute, and interrelate with others in a particular way. Now, it's important to remember that Belbin is about working on strengths. You don't tell the duck you're a great swimmer, but your running's terrible, so we'll work on that. No, you try and maximise the duck's value as a swimmer. So Belbin identified 9 team roles that underlie successful team composition, and you can think of them in groups of 3. So the first group are the thinking-oriented roles. Now the first role, these people are highly creative and imaginative. They're good at solving problems in unconventional kinds of ways. Okay, and Belbin called these people plants. Now the second group, these people are logical. They can weigh up options. They can make impartial judgments that aren't based on emotions, yeah? These are the kind of people who can give you real advice. And Belbin called these people monitor evaluators. The last and the first group, well, these people just have detailed knowledge of a specific key area. It might be nuclear physics, it might be the chemical composition of donuts. These are the specialists. Okay, so the second group of roles are the people-oriented roles. And the first of these, well, this is the person who can manage the team. They can delegate the work. They can focus on the team's objectives, and this is the coordinator. The second group, well, these people are the heart and soul of the team. They're able to use their versatility to give assistance to all team members. They're the team worker. The last in this little group, well, these people know the market. They've got inside knowledge of the opposition. They connect the team's ideas to the world. These are the resource investigators. Now, the final trio are the action-oriented roles. And the first of these roles is the driver, the leader. Belbin calls this role the shaper. Shapers have the drive to keep the team moving forward and focused. The second group are the doers. These are the people who plan practical strategies and carry them out efficiently. They actually make the product. These are the implementers. The final role, and it's most effective near the end of the task, which is when they can polish, scrutinise for errors, ensure a high standard of quality control. These are the completer finishers. So there are the 9 roles. Does this mean that every successful team needs 9 members? Well, no. Some roles are shared or one individual takes on more than one. The roles have specific strengths and associated problem areas. But really, they're a tool for managing yourself and the other members of your team. It encourages awareness, integration and efficiency. It promotes a team of specialists, which is a winning team.
Okay. Thank you. So I want to take comment from one of 2 people. What did you learn from that video? Key points. Carl, are you able to speak?
Sorry, I'm eating.
Okay. Who else? Rita, are you able to speak? Ebere said everyone is useful within a team. Rita,
for the strength of
we can't really hear you well.
for the strength of your team members.
Yes, sorry. Ebere, you don't want to speak? We only need to highlight your strengths. We only need to highlight their strengths and tailor their roles towards the goal. Very spot on. Very spot on. Oh, okay, it's fine. It's fine, you're in transit. Peace, do you want to say anything about the video? What stood out for you? Is Peace there?
Typing.
She's typing. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. There are some. Go ahead, please.
Oh yeah, I can make a contribution now. Sorry, I was eating then. So like, it's an interesting concept because like it talks about like trying to understand all your team members and focusing on what it is that they have to offer rather than trying to mold them into what you think they should be doing. Which is why I think some managers what they just do is just give you a task and say do it this way and things like that. But this theory, I feel like it's trying to go a step further by like you as a manager try to understand who your team members are, what their strengths are, and focusing on those strengths so that you can use them to be more efficient in the team.
Very spot on. Very spot on. You know, in the video they said something. Said a team of specialists are always more effective than a team of all-rounders. Did we get that?
Yes, that was an interesting part.
Yeah, so a team of specialists are always more. So there is actually strength in diversity. That's what that is saying. So if you as a manager, you want to get exceptional result from your team, you don't need to force them to be like you. That is the undoing of most managers. You know, because they maybe they are thinking oriented, or maybe they are people oriented, or maybe they are task oriented. Do you understand? Action oriented. They just want everybody to be like them. And once you have a skilled team, you are not going to have a balanced team. You need people-oriented people to get the team together, be happy, to smile. You understand? Sometimes that is just what is needed to continue the work, even when you are faced, you know, with challenges on the work. The people-oriented people are the ones that will motivate your team and get them to continue to work. Okay, let's quickly look at it in detail. So, like I said, I will expect the class governor to share more resources on these, you know, over the course of the month before our next class. You know, these have actually been, you know, dimensioned. Action-oriented roles, people-oriented roles, thinking roles, cerebral roles. You understand? And you want to check their strengths and weaknesses. So what you have to do as a manager is to say, you know, you maximize their strengths and you help them to reduce their weaknesses. You don't force it out of them, you know, and say, you understand? You know that this person has a strength. More importantly, I have to say this. When you have an urgent task to deliver, that is not the time to help people to overcome their weakness. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
Yeah, so when you have an urgent task, maybe the customer has said deliver in 3 days and you want to deliver exceptionally and deliver in 2.5 days. This is a time for you to look at the strength of your team members. Do you understand? And then channel their strengths to that job easily so that everybody is operating in their natural terrain and not a forced terrain. So that once they operate in their natural terrain, you can be sure that the output will be faster and then will be good enough. You understand? But when you have a job that you have some time, you understand, in your hand to play with, you know, maybe the client tells you that I don't even need this, but I just want you just be working on it. You can share it January next year. You understand? You can then look at the weaknesses of some of your team members and say, okay, on this particular project, I want you to use this project to overcome this weakness. You understand? While we are learning together. You understand? So that is the way I really want us to look at this. And in that video also, there's something profound that was said. I don't know if we all got that. To say that you don't necessarily have to have, or in every team you have 9 people. You understand? Some people may dwell this role. You know, some people may be a shaper and still be, you understand, a people person. You understand? Coordinator, team worker, as the case may be. You understand? So you don't necessarily have to have 9 people in your team. You understand? For your team to be complete. But you identify those strengths in people and say, in the composition of my team, I think I now have every ingredient to make my team deliver on what is expected of it in an exceptional manner. You know, the team management, especially if you are a supervisor or you are a business owner, managing your team is very, very important. Do you understand? You cannot, I used to be the people person at Anderson. You know, I used to have an AD then that is task oriented. You know, do the job. I don't care how you are feeling. You understand? But when that pressure comes to people, they run to me. You understand? And I tell them that, okay, don't worry, we'll take it one after the other. Do you understand? Can you negotiate with that person to shift this timeline? Blah, 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 blah. But the truth is that if you don't have that balance in a team, if everybody is like me, nothing will be done. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say. You understand? And if you only have people like those people also, the team will soon leave. Everybody will resign. You understand? So it is the balance that actually makes an effective team where you are able to say that, okay, I hope I have a choleric, a sanguine, you know, all those personality traits in my team, you know, that all those things also speaks to this Bell-Beans team role. You know, there's a connection, you know, between personality traits and and then baby's team role. You know, the course rep can also research materials and put it on the page for people to look at this, to know that, oh, if I have this personality trait, there's more likelihood that I'm a coordinator than a team worker, as the case may be. But we are not going to be discussing personality traits this evening that much. So let me make progress. Still on team management, you know, there is these elements that we also need to pay attention to. You know, you also want to assign tasks according to each member's strengths, especially, like I said, when you have an urgent deliverable to work on. You know, but you can help your team members to manage their weakness when you have much more time on your hand, you know, and you can switch their role for the purpose of developing. You need to encourage and motivate your team. You know, you need to encourage them. You don't need to, when the team is motivated, you don't need to police anybody. It is only when the team is not motivated that you need policing. You need to constantly improve work process. So if you are a team leader, your team spent 3 hours to deliver a job last time, and this same job is coming this time around. What can we do differently to relieve my team members of the burden of 3 hours? Can we possibly do it in 2 hours, 30 minutes? Applying the principle of Kaizen, you understand? Quality management, you understand? So you want to be careful to see that you are improving the work process. Before you know, if you don't improve the work process, people are tired of doing the same routine over and over and again, and they say, well, this team self is not that, this team is not organic, it's not dynamic. You understand? What more do I have to learn in this team? You know, you have to constantly look for opportunity to improve your processes as a business owner or as a team lead, as the case may be, if you really want your team to be highly motivated and deliver exceptional results for you. And lastly, what I want to say here is that ensure that you deliver results with feedback and recognition. So we've seen managers, we've seen team lead in the past that they just want to take all the glory, despite the fact that they know that it is the team that delivered on the job and not them. If you do that, if you go that route, you are going to shoot yourself in the foot. As part of my policy personally is that even when I'm very critically involved in the delivery of a thing, I still give the recognition to my team, notwithstanding. Because I understand that when you constantly recognize people for their contribution, they are motivated to do more. They are motivated to go the extra mile. Do you understand? So don't take all the glory. Give feedback. Like I used to tell people that feedback are the live wire of growth. If you are not getting feedback as a person, you are never going to grow. Feedback is an indispensable poison that people need to take. You understand? You recognize them, you reward them, you give them the recognition when they deliver on the job. But for your team members to also improve, give them feedback on what they could have done better, or what they have. Feedback is not actually just negative things. You understand? You can also give positive feedback and say, you really surprised me on that job. You understand? I expected that you do you are going to do 1, 2, 3, but you did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is profound. Give positive feedback. You understand? Not always. Never have the mindset that feedback is always negative. That is a wrong mindset. Feedback can be positive. Feedback can be negative. The objective of feedback is growth. If you are not helping that person to grow, don't give that feedback. Attack the issue. Don't attack the person. Don't give feedback like, are you dull? Are you dense? You understand? Why are you doing this? No. You are attacking the person. You give feedback like, wow, I thought you would do this thing like this. I expected that you would do this thing like this. Why did you do it like that? You hear from that person. And when you say, oh, okay, your understanding of this issue is not correct, then you are in the position to help that person to grow. Let your motives for feedback be growth, you understand, and not just to demotivate or demoralize, the person you are giving feedback to. Remember that feedback is needed to encourage people when they are doing well, give them positive feedback. When they are not doing well, then you also want to let them know so that they can improve on areas that they needed to improve on. So that would be the wrap up, of my presentation today, or my interaction today. And I will take questions within the next 10 minutes, and then we'll continue the interaction on the Telegram page. So, do you have any question? Rita, go ahead, please. Okay, go ahead and type. While she's typing, if you have any other question in the room, let's quickly take it. Okay, so the question goes, what if you get a positive feedback and that same supervisor goes behind you to rubbish you, saying he just wanted you to feel good? How do you manage that as a team member? Mr. Echo, do you want to weigh in on this?
Wow. I am sincerely looking back at my career in Nigeria. I got us to some point where I understood that I work with Deloitte, which was the largest professional service firm in terms of revenue globally. So what Deloitte tries to do, they try to make sure that each member firm operates the same policy. But I came to realize that, especially back home, even over here in the UK, I came to realize that one of the challenges with Deloitte is that they have a lot of good things, a lot of good processes, they've deployed a lot of technology to make work easy. By the end of the day, people don't really rightly deploy those resources or rightly deploy those tools. Even in Nigeria and UK, I've seen it. So people don't even believe in the process. People don't even understand the process. So sometimes it could be that the process itself is flawed. And at another time, it could be that the process is good, but the people don't believe in the process. So again, the output would always be flawed. So the person had the question, I know her personally, so I know where she's coming from. So the environment where you work, sincerely, it plays a large role, the culture in the environment or environment where you work, to determine if these things we are talking about will actually work. Sincerely, let me not lie to you. There's some environments where it might be difficult for it to work. But again, what I would say is that as Christians, we're encouraged to keep doing what we are doing. Paul was talking to, who was he talking to? But he was discussing about the slave. I think that was in Timothy. And he was trying to tell brethren that they should see slaves as their brothers, even if they are servants. And servants too should also make sure that their service should be service to God, even as servants, he was encouraging them that their service they should ensure that their service is not just for eye service, it's a service to God. We should understand that, see, it's not only in church we serve God with our work, even in our workplace, the service we are doing, it might feel as if we are doing it for the person or the government or the owner of the organization, or we are doing it, I mean, I'm just doing the work, but our work, one of our very important place where we fail, it's not even the excellence part, is just doing the work and doing it with the heart that I'm serving God. If you can do our work, first of all, with the heart that I'm serving God with my work, not just everything we've talked about now, but the fact that, see, I'm serving God with my work, then when things like this happen, especially when the process for feedback and appraisal and performance appraisal is not good, or the process itself is flawed, then I think you just have to keep doing what you're doing. That's the point I'm trying to, and just have it in mind that, see, whatever I'm doing, I'm serving God. I'm not just working for this person. I am doing God's service here. And I think over time, I mean, in due course, God will stand up for you and you'll be favored and get your due recognition.
Thank you, Mr. Eko. I think I have a live example of this. When I joined KPMG, the sets that joined KPMG prior to our sets, they were, there was an ASU strike that did not allow our set to graduate, so it's only private university students that were able to make up those sets, and from their age-wise, all of them are pretty young, you understand? And then the next set then came around. The next set are all federal university students that are old. You understand what I'm trying to say? And what we observed, in our sense, was to say, it's like these people are making deliberate attempts to ridicule whatever we are doing. Do you understand? So that they can feel like, oh, we are your senior. You understand? You understand? So no matter what we do, or no matter the deliverable we send to these people, they will come back with all kind of comment to say you are in fact, this is rubbish. When somebody is saying rubbish to your face, blah 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 blah, and you are like, okay, it's fine. One thing I told myself is, like what Mr. Eko had said, is service unto God. I continue to do my own work, and it is what you know. So something happened. We were supposed to send a proposal to Nigerian Stock Exchange. I was supposed to work with this person in the higher level, one of them. And, I actually asked for more time, because I was working on other things so that I can underpromise, and she was like, oh, she is not going to agree to that. She's never going to accept that I should send it. There's a posture of a mindset already attacking, that lower level, you understand? So, and at the end of the day, you understand, I couldn't send it to her. The next morning she fell ill. She couldn't come to the office. Then the manager asked that I send whatever I've done to her directly. Do you understand? So I sent the work to the manager directly. And the manager just did one or two changes, sent it to the partner. The partner also did one or two changes and sent it to the marketing team to kind of design and send to Nigerian Stock Exchange. So unfortunately, when the manager was sending to the partner, or when I sent to the manager also, I forgot to copy her. Do you understand? So the next morning when she came around, she just started shouting in the pool. We operate in a pool where you have 200 people. Say, what is this? What kind of rubbish is this? Blah, 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 blah. And she never knew that the work has even gone to the client. And the manager was now shocked that what is going on? What is going on? That what kind of rubbish? And until that incident, the managers then recognized what was going on. So they asked us to say, don't work with them directly again. Work with more senior people. Do you understand? And that was until that time. That was when my contribution to the team was properly recognized. Because prior to that time, these people, no matter the performance evaluation form you send to them, they will word it down, you understand, deliberately. But there's a posture of mind that I have to say, it is God that I'm working for, and it is what I know that I know. You understand? And in no time at all, it will come to the public space to know my contribution to the team. So I am going to say this in addition to that, to say, when the system is flawed, continue to walk and serve as if you are serving God. God who sees in the secret, you understand, will reward you in the open. The scripture made us to understand. Secondly, that also speaks to the importance of having an agreement. Assuming you had an agreement with that person now, even if that person go about and saying another thing, you can just call those people and say, look, we had a project kickoff meeting. You understand? We had a team meeting, and this was what I was expected to deliver. And I delivered above this. You understand? And the person will then start casting aspersion on whatever the person is saying about. But if you don't have an agreement, you understand, you may not be able to achieve that. Okay. I don't know, Rita, if we have been able to address your concern. Oh. There's a question from Peace. What do you do when you give feedback to your teammate and it's being received grudgingly? Okay, let me just quickly attempt to answer that, to say that your teammates, it depends on the level that you are. You understand? In a team, hierarchy may be important. You understand? You need to pay attention to hierarchy. As a junior staff, you don't rush to your senior person to say, I have feedback for you, except it's a positive feedback. Do you understand? When you have a negative feedback for that person, ensure that it is the person that requested the feedback. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say. So when you ensure that it's the person that requested the feedback, you can then say what you want to say. But while saying what you want to say, remember what I said, focus on the issue, not the person. Do you understand? Never attack the person, but attack the issue. Do you understand? And in addition to that, when you are on the same level, peer-to-peer feedback, there are some level of collegiality that you must have achieved with that person for that person to take your feedback constructively. Because if you are not a friend to that person, the person will look at you and say, who made you Lord over me? Who made you manager over me? Are we not on the same level? Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So you need to have achieved some level of collegiality with that your peer in order for your feedback to be properly welcomed. You understand? So you want to watch to say, are you a senior giving feedback to your junior? It's fine. You understand? Focus on the issue. You understand? And then attack the issue, not the person. Are you peer-to-peer? Ensure that you have a level of relationship that will foster that kind of conversation. Are you giving negative feedback to your boss? Ensure that it's your boss that requested the feedback. I don't know if I did justice to that.
Yeah. I just wanted to add that I think now the process of feedback is even called development point, giving people development points, because the whole it is understood that the whole idea of feedback is to help somebody. This was a discussion I was having with somebody yesterday, exactly the same discussion, and it was about my experience in my former firm, and I was telling the person that if we understand the purpose of feedback, then after a feedback session, when the person who you are giving the feedback is leaving the room, the person should be able to understand that, okay, this is the purpose of feedback, to help me be a better person. And the person should also clearly understand have a clear understanding that will enable the person know what to do to close those gaps. When the person leaves there, does that have a clear understanding of what to do, or does not understand what's the purpose of this feedback? The whole process is defeated. I understand the fact that you cannot really control how people will feel. At the end of the day, people will feel the way they want to feel. But that does not stop us from giving honest feedback. But the way we go about, we should be careful the way we go about and pass that message across such a way that you are saying that, see, this is to help you get to the next level, not necessarily to say to put you down or to bring you down.
It's a growth feedback.
Yeah.
Focus on the growth. Okay. Thank you. Rita, is this an old ant or a new ant?
I think it's the old one. I think she needs to bring it down.
Okay. Just go back to the reactions and click on the ant again. It will come down. So in the absence of any comment in the room, I think we have shot past the 5 p.m. Budgeted for this time, although we started a bit late. Notwithstanding, we tried as much as possible to stay within the budgeted time. And I want us to get on our page and start interacting as much as possible. If you are yet to be on the page, Mr. Echo, can you help us share that link again for those people that may not have onboarded on the page? Remember that our coursework for this month, until we meet again by the last Saturday in this month, is that we are reading the book Start With Why by Simon Sinek. That book will bless you. That book will transform you. So pay attention to it. Create time. One of the ways you can actually read it is to look for your pastime. You are in traffic, you are not driving. You can catch, maybe 2 chapters. You understand? You are in a bus, you can catch 3 chapters. You understand? Or you are waiting for somebody somewhere. You can do that. And whatever lessons that are coming to you strongly while reading the book, let us post it on the Telegram page so that we can enjoy that conversation on the page. If you also face life issues relating to delivering exceptional results, please don't be shy to post your question on the page, and then the faculty members will attempt to respond to your question. Remember that the Telegram page will only be alive for 5 months, after which, it's going to go down. So I encourage you to maximize this opportunity and have at the back of your mind that this is to the end, that I am a workplace evangelist. Thank you. God bless you. Over to you, Mr. Echo.
Just want to say thank you to Mr. ONASAMI for his time and for all that he has shared with us this evening. I just want us to appreciate him. You can just use the reaction button to appreciate him. Hello, can we just use the reaction button to appreciate our facilitator? Okay, thank you very much. I also want to thank us for joining up and for staying through the session. Just want to encourage us to read the book and try and then drop what you think you gained from the book, and we'll just try and pick up the discussion from there. And also ensure that you're a part of the WhatsApp group, because that's where we'll be having the follow-on discussions. And if you have any question, you can also drop
Telegram
on the
group.
WhatsApp group. Sorry, Telegram group. If you have any question, you can drop it on the Telegram group. Any question related to performance management or managing office politics and all that. I mean, we have seasoned hands who can respond to those questions. I also want to plead with us to let's not just go away. I mean, let's pick the important points here and work with it, and also monitor the Telegram page, try and participate so that we'll be kept abreast of what is happening, and which will also prepare us for the next session in early December. So I just want to appreciate us again, and let's.
It's last Saturday in November, the next session.
Oh, okay, yeah, next session, last Saturday in November. Then we have one session again in December, towards the end of December, and the last session in January. So we're ending the session here. I don't know if any question, contribution, we would like to end the session now and pick the conversation up on the Telegram page. All right, guys, thank you very much. Do have a wonderful weekend. Cheers and bye.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for having me. It was a great interaction. Thank you, bye. So, Mr. Echo, I will also share this slide so that you can share it on the page. Let's see how we can get the video too, for the purpose of who that's not in the room.